Welcome to the 4th episode of Fleet Racing Tour, Sailing to Tokyo, the monthly digest of all that's new in Olympic sailing. In the previous episode, we followed racing at the 2017 RSX European Championships in France's Mediterranean city of Marseille. Over 260 athletes competed for glory and a shot at the European titles. In an action-packed and tightly fought contest, it was Poland's Zofia Nochetti-Klepacka who won the RSX Women European Championship. Whilst in the RSX Men, the title remained in French hands as Yacht won the 2017 European title off the back of teammate Thomas Goyard's win in 2016. In this episode, we move from the city of Marseille and east along the French Riviera to the iconic city of Monaco. Here, the Yacht Club de Monaco would play host to the 2017 470 European Championships and teams from 25 nations around the world.
Yacht Club Monaco is they want to have a very large panel and to receive every sailor in the world, in particular with a large boat like a maxi or a boat like this and the classic boat.
The Yacht Club de Monaco is a remarkable venue. It combines a perfect mix of heritage and innovation, whilst also connecting classic and modern eras. The philosophy of the club is based on the need to perpetuate and pass on our ancestors' heritage, alongside the goal of ensuring the club remains lively and progressive. The 470 European Championship was a landmark event, representing the first time the Yacht Club de Monaco hosted an Olympic-class championship. For the world's 470 sailors, the glamorous super yacht backdrop to the boat park and 470 racing in front of the world-famous Monte Carlo landscape was a moment to savor.
Hello, I am from Spain.
Hola, yo soy de España.
Buongiorno, vengo dall'Italia. Ciao.
你好，我来自中国。
Привіт з України.
Hi, I'm Pedro from Portugal.
The European Championship saw the fleet come together at its first major event since the Rio 2016 Olympics. The Championships was the first opportunity to see whether the usual leaderboard hierarchy would unfold or whether a new cluster of faces would be in the running. Would the defending champions and Olympic medalists continue to dominate, or the new world #1 ranked pairings maintain their form to step up to the podium?
Olympics was great, was a really good experience, but now we are here back again, a new campaign, getting ready for Tokyo. Actually, racing here, Europeans, are the second regatta for me after Olympic Games.
Monaco is a great place. We are surrounded by super fancy boats.
The Olympic gold medalists Sima Fentella and Igor Marinits were not competing, so the door was open for the Olympic silver medalists and World Championship winning partnership of Matt Belcher and Will Ryan from Australia, as well as the Olympic bronze medalists Panayotis Mantis and Pavlos Kaialis of Greece to resume their fight. As these teams embarked on their new Olympic cycle to Tokyo 2020, would they see off the challenges from the newcomers to the fleet? And how would they fare compared to the teams fresh to the 470 class and with no pressure of expectation on their shoulders?
For us, we have a lot of respect for each other. Because we are good friends. We are racing them for a long time. You know, throughout my career, we've seen each other develop and to be in the position we are today. And for us, they're one of our favourite teams to race against. We have a lot of respect, and the racing is tight. You know, we're aggressive, we're competitive, both teams. But you know, we can catch up. You know, we catch up for a drink or to celebrate success. And it was really special a couple of weeks ago with all the Olympic and everyone with Federation just going home and media, and we never actually got a chance to just enjoy each other's success, and we did that a couple of weeks ago together. So it was really special that we took that moment.
Belcher has enjoyed a near-exclusive 6.5-year reign as world number 1 until the team's post-Rio 2016 break saw them drop to number 4. Belcher counts 6 back-to-back World Championship wins between 2010 and 2015, 3 of them with Ryan, making them the team to beat. Now let's meet Matt and William.
I started sailing when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
First day on the boat was 2 days old, but it took me about 12-13 years before I started racing.
I guess the most important win for myself was really the 420 Worlds back in 2000.
I was going to say Twilight race back in Sydney Harbour with my friends. My first World Championship win was with Matt in the 470 class, and I think that was a real moment where we knew that our partnership could be competitive together.
We try and train as much as we can.
Not every day's in the 470, but I love sailing as a sport, so if I can get out in the water doing kite surfing or canoeing or kayaking or something else, why not?
Probably The Good Wife.
We've got different tastes. I like How I Met Your Mother and Blue Mountain State.
Probably in recent Ben Ainsley.
I thought Matt was going to say me, so I would have to say him. You could say our own team.
Yeah. I like our team. Pancakes. Yeah, try and have them Wednesday, Sunday, every other day of the week.
Tiramisu. I'd have it every day too, but it doesn't work well with 470 weight loss.
Probably either Hamburg or Gold Coast, but where I live, it's probably my favourite.
It's pretty rare that we get to go home, so it's nice when I get to travel home.
Anything on the water. You know, anything foiling on the water, just outdoors.
Yeah, anything where you feel like you're pushing yourself and your limits or learning a new skill.
The 470 women fleet saw the rekindling of an old partnership. Jolanta Oga, the 2016 European champion racing under her previous flag of Austria, has teamed up with her former Polish helm Agnieszka Skrupulek as Oga seeks to end her Olympic career representing her birth nation, Poland. Oga and Skrupulek competed together at London 2012, scoring a 12th, after which Oga switched to race for Austria, finishing 9th in Rio 2016. For the 470 Europeans, they were back together in a 470. Whether towards Tokyo 2020 is yet unknown, as Skrupulek's current crew, Romina Klikinska, is currently off the water due to injury.
For sure, I want to do another campaign for Tokyo. I decided it already in Rio. At the moment, we had a lot of troubles with my crew that I took a part in Rio. She was injured, so that's the reason why we couldn't start the season together. And I'm really happy that Yola agreed to join me for Princesa Sofia and now for the Europeans. I'm really happy that we managed to achieve a really good result. This is very important for the next regattas and for the next year to get good finance. I want to say thank you to Yola, and we look forward for the future. I don't know what the future will bring.
Previous 4 years I was sailing for Austria with Lara Badlau, and it was amazing 4 years. We achieved a lot of success, but right now I back to Poland, but probably it's only temporary because Aga's crew has an issue with the knee, and I'm her backup plan. But we will see what the future will bring, and I don't say yes, I don't say no.
A similar switch for the Spanish pair of Sofia Toro and Angela Pomaraya. They won London 2012 Olympic gold in the women's match racing, along with Tamara Echegoyen, but after the event was dropped from the Olympics and they went their separate ways, creating new teams and became 470 rivals. Neither Toro or Pomaraya qualified for Rio in their previous partnerships, so they decided to reconnect and partner up for Tokyo 2020, which might just make the difference to their ambitions.
My best moment in my sailing career was winning the gold medal in London in match racing with Sofia and Tamara. After that gold moment, we have to separate us, and Sofia and me decide to pass to the 470 class, and Tamara into the 49er FX. Sofia and we were rivals into the campaign of Rio, and we didn't qualify for Rio. So after the last Olympics, we decided to come back together because we didn't find a crew. We were skippers in the last campaign. So we decided to be a team again, and we are here in the Europeans. It's a good moment for us for be together again.
For some, choices can be made. For others, life makes your choices. Australian Carrie Smith made a miraculous comeback to elite-level racing at the 470 Worlds in October 2015 after injury forced her off the track for a year. Smith was rushed to hospital with complications from stomach surgery in 2014, one of 4 operations she endured in the year before being forced to take months off from the sport.
I ended up having four more major operations, which I had a perforated stomach. It put me in bed for about 3 months and then took about a year to fully recover. They told me I had about 2 hours to live, which was pretty scary at the time. Made me really think that I could never be able to sail again, and that I'd be, sort of disabled in a way, depending on what the surgery had to entail. So it was a really scary stage of my life, and it definitely makes you grateful for being healthy and fit and being the athlete you can be.
Before the break, we caught up with some of the names in the 470 class fleet. Now, let's find out some key facts about the boat and why it deserves its place on the Olympic programme. Did you know the 470 first raced at the 1976 Olympic Games? And the first ever women's event was the 470 raced at the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul. The 470 represents the sport's universal appeal, bringing mainstream sailing to the Olympics. From 5 to 25 knots, the 470 guarantees exhilarating racing, testing all aspects of sailing. It is the only Olympic class that is matched for both women and men, with both racing in identical boats. Enables diverse weight and heights, taking Olympic sailing to a large percentage of the world's population. We have met the athletes. We know about the 470. Let's follow the action here at the 2017 470 European Championship at the Yacht Club de Monaco. Conditions on the racetrack were light across the first 3 days, with race postponements, but not much to worry about for teams who could enjoy the generous shoreside hospitality at the Yacht Club de Monaco. But definitely an opener for the light wind specialist and a particularly tough fight for the 470 men who were in a battle in a split fleet qualification series.
Had a few light wind days so far in the regatta. It's looking pretty breezy today, so it's nice to get a range of conditions out here. Looking forward to getting racing in some big breeze basically.
In Australia we love this sort of weather and big waves, so it'll be really exciting to get out there. We're just waiting to go now.
It will be very fun because there are the perfect condition for the sailors, and we are good.
Today it's absolutely booming. It's really cool to have the Europeans in such a variety of conditions, and I think everyone's really looking forward to going out and testing themselves in different conditions.
All change on race day 4 though, as a big breeze of over 30 knots and waves hit the racetrack and upped the pace, in complete contrast to conditions over the first 3 days. The more experienced teams came to the fore and clearly relished the breeze, with the biggest gains going to those who could manage the wind power and waves of up to 4 meters. In the men's gold fleet, the best performance of the day went to Rio 2016 bronze medalists Mantis and Kayalis from Greece, who scored back-to-back bullets. Equipment damage to some, including the Aussies, whose jib halyard snapped during the second race, forcing them off the track. Again though, the consistency of the world #1 pairing of Sweden's Falk and Dagmar held them firm at the top, to leave the rest chasing.
Today it was a strong day. We love days with strong wind. It was very difficult, anything could happen. You can have a damage or you can capsize. We tried to keep the boat safe. We had good speed, so we managed to have the bullets.
After their opening series on the back burner, the world #1 partnership of Zegers and Van Veen from the Netherlands racked up a second place in the first race of the day, following up with a win. Their reward, a leap from 16th overall at the start to first by the end. Certainly a position the Dutch are more familiar with. Consistency from Olympian Skrupulek and Oga of Poland rewarded them with a climb to second overall, as Skrupulek nudged closer to her first ever podium finish. On to race day 5, and after a long wait, racing kicked off just before 1800 hours in a very light breeze, with just one race held for each fleet. The Netherlands' Zegers and Van Veen held their lead in the 470 women, doing enough to guarantee themselves a medal, with just the colour to be decided. Italy's Berta and Carraro and Poland's Skrupulek and Oga were close in second and third, but there was no medal guarantee for them yet. In the 470 men, Malaysia's Norizan and Aziz led for most of the race, before being overhauled by Australia's Belcher and Ryan. The Aussies had positioned themselves just 1 point off the second-placed French pair of Pirouel and MON. Series leaders Flock and Daghammer sailed a safe race, finishing third to hold a 9-point lead, but the podium was still wide open for medal race day. Despite all the close action unfolding so far, the medal race and final day ended in frustration for some and glory for others as the win failed to arrive. With racing abandoned, it meant the results remained as they were. A week of diverse conditions, from the extremes of light wind to demanding ferocity of 30+ knots and 4-meter waves, rewarded a deserving leaderboard. Fredrik Fock and Marcus Daghammer of Sweden dominated the regatta from start to finish and were crowned European champions, seizing gold by 9 points over the French pair.
So it's been an amazing week for us. Light conditions have been in the top pretty much every day. We started with yellow bibs and we kept it all the way to the finish. No medal race today. That means that we are the European champions, which of course feels super great.
The women's was won by last year's silver medalists Zegers and Van Veen of the Netherlands. Italy's Berta and Carraro racked up a career best to take silver 7 points behind the Dutch. Poland's Skrbulek and Oga relaunched their partnership out front with a bronze medal.
Today was a day with a lot of patience and waiting. The wind never came, so we didn't manage to have a medal race. But we were already leading from yesterday, and then we kept leading, so now we are European champions. We are really happy about that, and we know that we need to keep improving, but it's a good step for us.
For both men and women European champions, the celebrations here at the magnificent Yacht Club de Monaco were particularly memorable as they celebrated their first ever European titles. Thank you for watching Fleet Racing Tour Sailing to Tokyo edition. See you next month with more stories and action from the major championships of the Olympic classes.